I'm at the Beltrami County Fairgrounds, and we're going to put up the Osprey Nest thing on like top of the pole.
You say we, who's we?
Beltrami Electric's coming, and then we have Sophia and Simon.
How did you get involved? How'd you find out about it?
Just found out about it
From your sister?
from Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad? Oh, okay.
We got wood and made it in the shape of a square.
Where'd the wood come from? Somebody buy it for you? Or
Someone bought it and we put it together.
where'd you put it together at?
By the fairgrounds.
Oh, the fairground? Okay. Pass it on to her. I mean, did somebody saw all the planks up ready to go and you had to put it together?
Yeah.
So what did you do then? And did you do it inside the 4-H building?
And we did it by the Heritage Square.
Oh, okay. You're outside. Passing on the microphone. Are all of you in the same 4-H group?
No. And I wasn't there when they built it. We needed a group project, and the Osprey Nest is what we wanted to do. The Osprey Nest pole was part of our wildlife enhancing program here at the fairgrounds.
About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the Beltrami electric truck arrived at the fairgrounds with the telephone pole. I don't know why they call it telephone, it's a power pole, so we'll call it a power pole. And everybody involved that was waiting at the fairgrounds got in line and followed the truck to the back part of the fairgrounds where the pole and Osprey Nest is going to be erected. We're going to sit and watch what happens here, how these gentlemen from the electric company get the pole off the truck, drill the hole, and put it in the ground. If you've never seen this before, it's quite unique. That white one. Might roll a little when I lose. Here they're rotating the pole to try to get a certain position. There's a wire stapled, a grounding wire stapled to the pole that's got to come off. And they're trying to get the pole rolled so that the wire is easy to get at. A little clumsy to do, but once it gets in position, then they get out the wire pullers and start pulling the staples out. And the staples go into a bucket so they don't get stuck in a tire or something. But the ground wire has got to come off.
So the way this project got started was Rena, the county fair manager, and Paul Hoka, the fair secretary, noticed some sticks that were on top of one of the electric poles in our back parking area by the camping area, and they figured an osprey was trying to build a nest on one of our electric poles. So Rena had read an article in Beltrami Electric magazine that they do that type of thing, that they set up an osprey platform in a better place for them and they can move a nest. But so she called the DNR, the local DNR office, and found out that if there hasn't been a nest already established, they don't need to get a permit to move it. If it was already established, you can get a free permit, and then you can move the nest from one light pole fixture to a man-made Osprey Nest platform. So we were good to go. So she contacted Beltrami Electric to come out and put up the pole, and then Rena contacted our 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife group because she knew we needed a conservation project for every year we have to do a county conservation project display at the state shoot. So I lined up some shooting sports, archery, and kids to help build the platform. So one night on a Friday night when they weren't doing archery, we put the platform together, and then on Monday, the kids were there to help put the final touches on it and watch them set the pole. And tonight, when I went out there to check on it, it looks like there's been more branches added to our platform. So either the bird that was trying to build has come back and has adapted to this platform, or else Beltrami Electric did say they would come out with a bucket and put up some more twigs to give it a starter spot. So I'm not sure if it's too late for this year, but hopefully this year or next year some Osprey nesting pair will come and use that for their home.
I think this is Simon and Sophia. What they're doing is going over to the light pole where the ospreys were trying to build a nest on it, and it was not convenient. And they were going to get the sticks from the ground and bring it back over to put the sticks in the osprey nest to help invite the birds build a nest on this platform. Now, these are sticks that the osprey tried to build a nest of, and it kept falling off the pole, the light pole, because it wasn't convenient. The sticks are brought back to the site, and they're carefully stuck into the nest in a way they wouldn't fall out when they'd raised the pole. Now, the other sticks will be put into the platform once the pole is raised.
Stick that in. And then, Candace, can you take pictures?
The ones that are bendable, and I think that I think we could leave them on.
Yeah. So go ahead.
There. Don't enough on the edge of the pole there. Okay. Do a till on it. Oh. It'll suck it in there, so. Yeah, well, I should have. You mean there's none of them on there either? Should be one.
Here's one that might go.
Before the pole can be taken off the trailer, a hole has to be made in the ground about 6 feet deep, and this piece of machinery will do that. It's equipped to drill the hole and pick up the pole and put it in place and pack it all down. I think you'll find it interesting to see how this machine works. There's a big auger bit next to the crane, and shortly he's going to hit a control where a rope unrolls the auger bit. This is what's happening right now. And when it gets to the end of the rope will actually come off, and the bit is now free to drill a hole once he puts it into position. There was a white circle drawn on the ground by the fairground staff to indicate where the pole is supposed to go. Now that the hole has been dug to the proper depth, I think it's around 6 feet, it will be time to put the auger away and turn this crane into a device that picks up the pole. Remember the rope that unwound this? Well, now the rope's going to go back on, it'll wind back up tight, and the drilling bit will be locked into place on the crane. The next step is to turn the truck crane around, pick up the pole, and put it in the ground. Now, of course, the Osprey Nest is bolted on and ready to go.
Good, keep her up.
At the top of the crane, it's a little hard to see. In the next shot, it looks like a couple of grabbers. As the pole comes up, these grabbers are going to wrap around the pole to hold it in place so they can put it into the hole in the ground.
Okay.
This is a string with a weight on it. He's using this to align the pole to make sure it's straight from two different directions. And if it's not, he indicates to the crane operator this way or that way. Next, the dirt has to be put back into the ground, but it has to be packed. And what he's putting in the ground now is a pneumatic pactor, I guess it's properly called. And this will pack the dirt around the pole as it's being put in. Both Simon and Sophia Jones were invited to help put the dirt pack around the pole. Simon did the shoveling and Sophia ran the packer. It's an experience you're not going to have very often. And this is part of putting up the Osprey Nest. Once the compacted dirt is in place, the pole is all set and the lifting mechanism can be taken off and the crane can be put back in position for going down the road. Well, the job is almost done except for putting this aluminum sheathing around the pole. It's screwed to the pole, and the reason for it is to keep the critters on the ground from climbing up into the nest to get eggs or whatever for food. Hopefully this will make it so slippery that nothing can climb the pole. With the job now done, the pole is in the ground, the nesting platform is in place, Beltrami Electric heads back to the garage. We may be a little bit late this year because of the early spring. By next spring, this is what we hope we'll see in the nest. The young people here belong to the Beltrami County 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife Project. The Osprey Nest will be the subject for the display board they plan to bring to the state shoot in September. Each county is required to bring a conservation exhibit to the states in order for the kids to participate.